As firefighters, we fear dying on the job, in a fire, or from a traumatic injury. We train hard for those incidents to keep us safe. The harsh reality is that almost 2/3 of the firefighters battling fires today will be battling cancer at some point in the future. Take charge of your health. Early detection is a key to survival. Should you receive a cancer diagnosis, know that we are only a click or phone call away. Our dedicated team stands ready to support you and your family throughout the entire journey, from diagnosis to treatment and recovery. You are not in this fight alone.
Welcome to our program, Doing It Right. I'm Christina Mendonca. Today, we'll focus on firefighters and understanding what you can control when it comes to reducing cancer risk. A 2024 study led by researchers at the American Cancer Society found 4 in 10 cancer cases and about 50% of all cancer deaths can be attributed to modifiable risk factors, including smoking, excess body weight, alcohol consumption, physical inactivity, diet, and infections. This is good news because it means you have more control over your own health. You're about to hear from several experts, but let's begin with a discussion around cancer risk factors unique to the firefighting profession.
We all have risk factors. Some we can modify, and others like age, sex, or genetics are out of our hands. While these fixed factors play a role, there are many proactive choices we can make to lower our risk of illness, including cancer. Leading a healthy lifestyle is one of the most effective defenses. About 40% of people will face a cancer diagnosis in their lifetime. Firefighters have a 9% greater risk of diagnosis and a 14% greater risk of mortality from occupational cancer. Cancer is now the leading cause of line of duty deaths in the fire service, making it crucial for all of us to be proactive about health and wellness. Fortunately, there are specific risk factors we can address to lower these risks.
The International Agency for Research on Cancer, or IARC, classifies both alcohol and the occupation of firefighting as Group 1 carcinogens, meaning they're known causes of cancer in humans. Over the last decade, scientists have tracked alcohol use among firefighters, finding that rates of heavy and binge drinking are high within the profession. This is dangerous because alcohol breaks down into a substance called acetaldehyde, which many researchers identify as a major contributor to increased cancer risk. To minimize risk, the safest option is to avoid alcohol altogether. However, if you do choose to drink, limit yourself to 1 drink per session if you're a female and 2 if you're a male. As a quick guide, 1 drink is 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or an ounce of spirits. Another way to cut back is by keeping a drink diary. It helps you track how much you drink each day and make intentional choices about your intake. It's tough to manage what you don't measure. And remember, supporting each other is key. Encouraging fellow firefighters to drink less or not at all can make a real difference for everyone's health.
Depending on the kinds of calls you take, you can end up spending a lot of time in the sun. The International Agency for Research on Cancer has classified ultraviolet radiation as a cause of skin cancer, including melanoma and other serious skin cancers. Here's Scott Jenny, National State Director, with more on the unique risks for firefighters.
Firefighters face a unique risk when it comes to UV exposure and have a 21% higher chance of developing melanoma than the general population. UV radiation comes from the sun, as well as from sources like sun lamps and tanning beds. It can damage our skin over time, Although it's tough to avoid a UV exposure while on the job, it's crucial to take precautions when off duty. Try and reduce your time in the sun, especially between mid-morning and late afternoon. We should be using sunscreen daily with an SPF of at least 15. Some doctors recommend 30 or higher. Remember to cover all exposed areas like your face, ears, neck, and hands, and avoid tanning beds. These can add even more damaging UV exposure. Don't forget that UV rays can also bounce off sand, water, snow, and even go through windows and windshields. So extra care is important in these situations. Other ways you can minimize the risk include wearing protective clothing like hats and long sleeves. You can even find clothes made with UV-rated fabric. And don't forget, protect your eyes with good sunglasses and get screened annually since detection of melanoma is critical. It's treatable when caught early. Taking these precautions can make a big difference in reducing the risk of skin cancer both on and off duty.
Sleep disruption is part of the job for many of us, and it's one of those things that we often bring home after a shift or a call. A cancer research center in Seattle found that people who slept fewer than 6 hours per night before their cancer diagnosis were 50% more likely to die from the disease compared to those who got 7 to 8 hours of sleep. These days, sleep tips are everywhere. But because quality sleep is so important for reducing cancer risk and improving overall health, some tips are worth repeating. Here's what the Mayo Clinic suggests. Make your bedroom dark, quiet, and cool. If you cannot sleep, don't use electronics. Avoid caffeine in the afternoon or evening. Get up at the same time every day, even on your days off and during vacation time. Limit exposure to bright light in the evenings and put the phone and tablets down at least 30 minutes before bedtime. Skip big meals before bedtime and have a light snack if you're hungry. And although it seems like a way to relax, alcohol can ruin your sleep by causing you to wake up in the middle of the night dehydrated. Set a bedtime that's early enough for you to get 7 to 8 hours and exercise regularly. You'll just sleep better.
As firefighters, you're naturally active, especially during calls, but it is always good to fit more exercise into your off hours. Debbie Pike says there are several types of cancer where there is strong evidence that risk is impacted by how much you move. Debbie Pike is the wellness coordinator for FCSN.
You've probably heard the saying, sitting is the new smoking. We've long known that being sedentary is bad for your overall health, but recent studies show just how risky it can be, linking low activity levels with a shorter lifespan, higher rates of cardiovascular disease, and even certain cancers. That's why this comparison to smoking is catching on. In fact, the National Institute of Health highlights 7 types of cancer strongly linked to low physical activity. Getting more exercise doesn't just lower cancer risks, it can also help with weight management, improve sleep, and even boost mental health. The recommended weekly exercise for adults is 150 to 300 minutes of moderate activity, 75 to 150 minutes of high-intensity exercise, or a mix of the two. Some firefighters may meet these goals on shift, but for those working part-time, on-call, or at a busy house without fitness equipment, hitting these numbers may have to happen off-duty. The benefits of exercise are real. It helps manage weight, reduce inflammation, lower insulin levels, and improve the immune system. If you're looking to get started, there's no shortage of fitness programs tailored to different fitness levels and goals, and plenty designed specifically for firefighters. One example is the IAFF's Fit to Thrive program, which grew out of the IAFF and IAFC Wellness Fitness Initiative and the Peer Fitness Trainer Program.
Firehouse kitchens can be great places to eat. And with all you put yourself through on the job, you need to nourish your body well. Good nutrition not only fuels your activity, it keeps you healthy on a cellular level.
Eating a healthy diet gives your body the nutrients it needs to stay strong physically and mentally, while avoiding foods that may increase cancer risk. The gold standard diet is packed with vegetables, leafy greens, fruits, nuts, beans, whole grains, lean proteins, high-quality fats, and water. On the flip side are processed foods, sugary drinks, red and highly processed meats white flour carbs, and fast food, all of which can negatively impact health. Poor nutrition can eventually lead to cellular and organ damage, harming cardiovascular health, brain function, and increasing cancer risk. An unhealthy diet can also lead to weight gain, which is closely linked to cancer risk. The fire service has a known challenge with weight. Firefighters are more likely to be overweight or obese than the general public. According to the CDC, being overweight raises cancer risks, with overweight individuals being twice as likely to develop certain cancers, including kidney and liver cancer. In fact, endometrial cancer is 7 times more common in those who are obese. A recent study showed that excess weight was responsible for 4.7% of new cancers in males and 9.6% in females. Why the link between weight and cancer? Fat tissues impact hormone production, cell growth, metabolic regulation, inflammation, and insulin levels, each playing a role in cancer risk. Making mindful food choices, what you eat and how much, can help manage weight and significantly lower cancer risk.
We've all heard that the biggest cancer risk is for those who smoke or use tobacco. That remains true. And not just for lung cancer, but for all cancers. There is simply no safe level of tobacco to use. And that's whether you smoke, dip it, vape it, or use a pouch. Curtis Dunn has more on the extensive evidence connecting tobacco use and cancer.
Here's the good news first. Immediately quitting tobacco use reduces cancer risk and increased life expectancy no matter when you started. Tobacco is the top cause of cancer and cancer-related deaths among the general population. Smokeless tobacco, in particular, raises the risk for mouth, esophageal, and pancreatic cancers. And if you quit smoking, even after a cancer diagnosis, it still lowers the chance of dying from the disease. While firefighters tend to smoke cigarettes less than the general population, they're more likely to use cigars or smokeless tobacco. But there's no gray area here. Tobacco use causes cancer. It's as simple as that. The reality is, firefighters diagnosed with cancer could face higher financial risks if they're tobacco users. So while quitting may not be easy, especially after years or decades of use, there's help out there. Tobacco addiction is a treatable and curable disease.
Firefighting cancer presumptive laws vary by state, yet firefighter tobacco use is an argument made to show that firefighting is not a primary cause of cancer and that workers' compensation benefits can possibly be denied. We already have a 9% greater risk of a cancer diagnosis than the general public. Using tobacco just increases the risk. Bottom line, eliminating tobacco is the best practice for your health.
We all carry stress, no matter our jobs. That stress wears us down and impacts our immunity. Lisa Raggio has more on the impact of stress hormones.
Stress, especially the kind that lingers day in and day out, is tougher to measure than the clear risks linked to things like tobacco use, poor diet, and lack of exercise. Yet, just like these other factors, chronic stress can set off a chain reaction that ultimately impacts our health and increases cancer risk. When we're stressed, we may be more likely to pick up habits like smoking or drinking as a way to cope, both of which are known cancer risks. Researchers have long explored the connection between stress and cancer, though it's been challenging to pinpoint exactly how stress might contribute to it. However, a 2019 study suggests that stress hormones could play a role by waking up dormant tumor cells and creating an environment where they can thrive. Essentially, when we're under stress, our body's natural responses can unintentionally provide fuel for potential cancer cells. For firefighters, chronic stress is almost part of the job description. The nature of the work brings unique pressures and high-stakes situations that can weigh heavily. While eliminating stress altogether isn't realistic, finding ways to manage it can make a significant difference.
As research continues, firefighters should focus on ways to reduce stress when off duty. That is, live in a healthy way, rather than turning to alcohol, excessive eating, or other behaviors that may do long-term harm, As with exercise programs, there is no shortage of stress relief and stress reduction options. Some, such as engagement and regular physical fitness activities, will have added benefits to protecting firefighters from cancer. Other options range from therapy sessions with a certified professional counselor to even owning a dog.
There is no magic solution for stress relief, and some firefighters may need to try multiple options to get the results they need.
Getting regular cancer screenings is one of the most effective ways to catch cancer early, which can greatly improve treatment outcomes. In some cases, screenings can even detect precancerous lesions that can be removed, stopping cancer before it starts. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force and the NFPA both have screening recommendations for cancers that firefighters are at higher risk for, like colon, prostate, and skin cancers such as melanoma. If your department offers occupational health screenings, some of these cancer tests may already be covered. But it's also important to talk with your primary healthcare provider and let them know that you're a firefighter. This way, they'll understand the unique cancer risks that come with your job and can guide you on the right screening options.
Thank you for joining us today as we explored the critical topic of cancer risk awareness for firefighters. We've learned that while certain factors like tobacco use and poor diet are well-known risks, chronic stress, lack of sleep, and UV exposure also play significant roles in our health. The importance of early cancer screening cannot be overstated, as it can lead to early detection and treatment. By being proactive about our lifestyle choices, whether it's managing stress, maintaining a healthy diet, or getting regular screenings, we can empower ourselves and each other to reduce cancer risk. Remember, every small step counts, and supporting one another in these efforts is essential. Let's take what we've discussed today and apply it to our lives, keeping ourselves and our fellow firefighters healthier and safer on and off the job. We all need to be doing it right in regards to cancer prevention in the fire service.
The Firefighter Cancer Support Network thanks you for engaging with this crucial video. It's a stark reality that nearly 2/3 of firefighters on duty today will confront a cancer diagnosis in the future. This is a decisive call to action for all firefighters. Adopt the 12 immediate actions and 8 initiatives outlined in this video. These measures are essential for preventing cancer and minimizing exposure on the job. Take charge of your health. Early detection is a key to survival. Should you receive a cancer diagnosis, know that we are only a click or phone call away. Our dedicated team stands ready to support you and your family throughout the entire journey, from diagnosis to treatment and recovery. You are not in this fight alone.
The Firefighter Cancer Support Network is eternally grateful for all the participants who collaborated on this important video. We'd like to say thank you, and we could not have done it without you.